Hey guys, and welcome back to Runway from the Rav, a Project Runway podcast. My name is Riley.
And I'm Maggie.
And today we'll be discussing Project Runway Season 15, Episode 9. And this one, I don't remember the name of, but the idea of the challenge this time was it was AARP. It was going to have people come in about their new chapter in their lives, because usually AARP is like people going into retirement or something like that. And the idea is that they were going to go into this new chapter of their lives and they needed a new garment. And then the little bit of a twist this time was that it was their loved ones, family members and friends. So that's always cool because it's kind of like the real woman challenge. So that's always one of my favorites every season. And we had like a fake one at the beginning of the season where I thought that's how they were going to go with, what was it? Some online site. But then it turned out they just got to use their normal models. Yeah. But this time it's actually their loved one. So most of them, it was their mom. And then, Laurence, it was her daughter. And then a couple people, it was their friends. So that's cool. So, and it was about their loved ones going into a new chapter. Some of them were like going back to school or starting a new business, stuff like that. So that's kind of cool that they tied it back into the AARP thing. I thought they were going to walk in 50, like, aged models, like, who were, like, 50 plus. And I was also excited about that. But it turned out to be their loved ones, which is cute, because then they're all like, oh, my mom, and everybody's like crying and emotional, because that's just what moms do. Like, you're really strong in a moment and then you see your mom and it's just like, no. And this is actually the biggest prize for a single like challenge that I think I've seen.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
AARP said that the winning designer would get $25,000. And then it was revealed that the person, like their loved one, who was going to be like their model, would also get an additional $25,000. So this one challenge alone was $50,000, which is half, as Majing pointed out, of the grand prize for the entire show.
Yep.
So that's a huge amount of money. And I don't think we've seen that before for a single challenge.
No.
I mean,
Not that I can recall.
earlier in the season, they did a $5,000 one. And I think it was Dexter. I think that was a team challenge maybe. But he was like, I was so excited about this. $25,000. Who knows? So that's a huge amount of money, especially since a lot of these designers, at least this season, are fresh out of school or are kind of like transitioning, trying to like get their label off the ground. $25,000 is huge. And if you do it with your mom or a friend, you might get to keep a little of their $25,000, depending on where they're at. You never know. Obviously, that's up to your relationship, but... Okay, so that was the premise, was like a new change, a new kind of self, and then this huge money on the line, which always adds a little excitement. And then just the loved ones in the workroom. I have to say, they called them loved ones because it wasn't all mothers.
Right.
We're all women. And for the most part, I would say, other than maybe like one or two of them, they were all like pretty average, like in terms of like size and weight. We've seen some real women challenges before where there's like overweight people. This time, maybe like one or two, but... pretty average. So this was also our first 2-day challenge.
Yeah, it was. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So some people still struggled with time. But it was just make the one garment or however many pieces you want. So it was our first 2-day challenge. I think they had like $250 at Mood. And then they also got like their mom or their friend or their like daughter there. So that's kind of nice. So they had a little extra time to work, a really big incentive. And then they get to, like, meet with a loved one this is episode 9. They've been out for, like, several weeks away from them. And I know they don't get to contact them or anything. Like, they have to stay off social media and stuff. So I bet this was, like, just an awesome, like, time in the workroom. Like, a couple days of just, like, there's so much money on the line. I get a design for somebody I love. Plus, I get to hang out with them. So that was pretty cool. I'm trying to think of moments in the workroom. There were some tears.
Yeah.
When the moms and the the moms and the friends walked in, people were like, oh, like Robert was like, there's someone here you can touch and hug and talk to. And that was like the first like true emotion we've really seen out of Robert, which was nice. And Laurence, when her like daughter walked in, her huge smile, because she's so reserved. And obviously she's not going to be like crying and stuff. That just doesn't seem to be her in most situations. But when her daughter walked in or walked down the runway, her smile was just huge. And it was like, she's so proud. So cute. These episodes, they touch you.
There was one funny line. I can't remember who said it, but they called Cornelius resuscitated.
Yes.
It was real Barry.
Yes.
And then Natalia was like, oh my God, Jesus was resuscitated too. Like, maybe resurrected.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, because it was kind of like Roberia, I'm guessing, was not a native English speaker, but he used that word. And I mean, Cornelius had life breathed back into him. That's resuscitated. But then, yeah, Natalia like, oh my God, that's so cool. And it was just like, no, it's a little different. A little different. That was, yeah. Cornelius, luckily, there was a little bit at the very beginning of a tiny bit of shade. They showed in their like little hotel room apartments, Cornelius a little talking about last week, because obviously he really felt victimized by his team, Team Red Violet, and he did get the Tim Gunn save last time, so he, they made sure that he talked about that and like he was really grateful and everything. And then we got a little talking head from Dexter about, if Cornelius is gonna throw us under the bus like that, I'm just done with you. And I was like, how can you be so self-contained that you think that he threw you under the bus when you and Aaron consistently didn't listen to him, bullied him, pushed him, and then threw him under the bus, and you somehow turned that in that Cornelius threw you under the bus? That was just, it was only a short snippet right at the beginning of the episode, this little talking head of Dexter, and I was just like, obviously him and Cornelius have fought off and on throughout the season, just like throwing a little shade, talking about each other, but I was just like, what are you talking about? So luckily that kind of was over though.
Well, the other thing too was, did you notice Aaron was wearing Dexter's shirt?
Yeah, his brand, yeah.
So
yeah, I think they've really formed a strong friendship, which is cool,
yeah.
But not if you're gonna be bullies or like, I don't know, real fake about it. So luckily though, that drama did not leach into this episode too much. The first couple minutes, just to like as a recap, basically, if you missed last week, Tim Gunn save was used, Cornelius and Dexter had a little bit of a tiff. Erin is just like ignoring it. She's like, last week was really rough for me. And it's like, oh yeah, for you, okay, sure. But I'm kind of over Erin, and that's a bummer, but we'll get into that more this episode, like as we get into what they made. But yeah, luckily it didn't leach. Like last, I think, was it All-Stars, like between Sam and Keeney early on in the competition, that just leached to every episode after until the finale. And it was like, just be done. Like, have your big fight if you're gonna, or just stop talking about it. So this time it was nice that, because their loved ones were there and all this money was on the line and they were kind of excited about the challenge. Like, nobody was like, oh no, I have to dress my mom. Like, everybody was pumped about it, that we just kind of got to get over it. So I hope that continues, because I'm not here for the drama most of the time. I am here for sweet, sweet fashion. Right. And heart-touching moments and sweet Tim Gunn quotes.
He said the word titillated.
He did. He's very... Yeah, this season there's been a lot of that. Yeah. Kind of. Let's see. So what other things happened in the workroom? There was a little bit of Cornelius... near the end, he was struggling to get everything ready, and his mom was like, I don't want you to freak out, I just want you to focus and do it. And I was like, that's what he needs to hear. And then Natalia was also really struggling with having hers done on time. Yeah.
She got really ambitious.
Yeah.
And just ran out of time.
And also, like, made it over, like, kind of too big. And did not have time to change it or resize it, which is odd because she's made 3-piece garments before in one day and then this 2 days. And we didn't really see anybody wasting time. Like earlier in this season, they've specifically shown people sitting on the couch or like eating food. This time, like everybody was like pretty much shown working. But she struggled and actually had to send her coat. She made a coat, of course, down the runway with pins in it, which is never good. And that's Zach's favorite thing to point out, is when he's like, is that a pin? Yeah. And then we also had a little bit of something with Jenny. I feel like this is the second time Jenny's got a bit of the short end of the stick with the challenge. So back when they had to make the swimsuits and they had to make their own pattern, she made one that was like pink and lilac. And when they printed it, she was like, this is way lighter than it looked on screen. So she had a challenge. She was in the bottom that week. And then this week, everybody had 45 minutes to meet with their loved one. And most of them, like Majing's mom, apparently is like a hip hop artist and was gonna make her own record label for like female like hip hop artists. And I was like, that's so cool. Or like Rick's mom was going back to get her bachelor's degree so that she could like move into a management position. Laurence's daughter wanted to like start opening like a business or like a clothing store here in America that's like French inspired. And then there was a couple other people. I think like Dexter's friend was gonna try to open a business. Roberry's friend had recently moved to Panama and wanted to open. So there was just a ton of like new like truly new chapters. Unfortunately for Jenny, her mom didn't really have a new chapter. She was just like, well, I'm the director of a preschool, so it'd be nice to have something to wear to work. But I also go out to dinner, so it'd be nice to have something to wear to dinner. And I was just like...
Or to the gym.
Yeah, or new activewear in Jenny's face. And I was just like, you know, I could see a lot of moms doing that if they didn't have like a true, like, I'm retired and I'm going to go on a journey. Because there was a couple moms that were like, I'm going to a European vacation. But I could also see a lot of moms, including my own, who would try to be helpful by being like, oh, you can make me this or this or this. But like in that moment, they just need one thing to rally behind. Like, I need a dress so when I open my record label, I look bomb. Or I need a dress so that when I like walk in to get my promotion, I look great. Or I need a really cool garment, but like, oh, I could use sweatpants, but I could also use a pantsuit, but I could also use a dress. And Jenny was just like, oh, and I'm like, this is the second time poor Jenny has had the challenges not quite go her way. And that showed. Yeah. I think in the final piece that she made, which we'll get into again, but so that was a bit of a struggle, but all the moms were so sweet. Even Ma Jing, we got a little more backstory that him and his mom haven't always had the closest like relationship, but she seemed very supportive of him and everything, so that was nice to see as well. Yep. And we got a lot of Ma Jing crying. Yeah. He has a very emotive face, and he cried a lot. He's sensitive. Yeah, and we saw Erin cry. I don't think we've seen her cry quite yet when her mom came in. Also relearned that she was Mormon growing up. I'd forgotten about that she's from Utah. Yeah. And her mom is still there in Mormon, so I'd just forgotten about that. Were there any other moments?
I don't think so. Well, we could talk about this now or later, about how Tim asked Aaron during the critique. Yes. Like, Aaron, how many times have you made this same coat?
Aaron, for her mom, decided to do like a butterfly reveal. And so she made like a cocoon jacket that was gray, oversized big jacket with big pockets. Yep. Construction slightly different than what she's made before, but Natalia and Tim pointed out that it was very similar to things she's made in the past. And then she paired it with like this light baby blue dress with lace, and Tim was just like, this feels very junior. And then he called her out of like, this jacket feels very similar. And they flashed up on the screen 3 of her pieces. 2 were big coats, and then one was that like convertible dress, like the neoprene that had the same silhouette as one of her coats. And I was just like, thank you, because we have been calling that she's like kind of become this one trick, like have this overworked big jacket and then nothing really else. And she's not the only person making jackets. Natalia, Laurence, lots of jackets this season, but like Aaron's are like a next level big coat. Yeah. But she did not seem worried about it. She's like, I've got a great feeling about this in my gut, Tim, and I'm going to go with it. And her mom loved it. Because her mom's like, I just want something unique, because where I live, you can't get anything special. So, but also, I don't think I've ever seen one of these episodes where people bring in their moms or friends and they throw them under the bus. Like, it's your kid, and you could make $25,000. You're going to be like, I love it! It's perfect! Even if for me, they put me down like this big pink, like, floral thing, I'd be like, I love it! Give me my money! I hate pink. And floral. Yeah, you probably don't know that. I wear a lot of black. So, okay, that's true. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. We didn't get to see a lot of, like, Roberry's work time or Dexter's work time. I feel like we saw more Ma Jing, Jenny, Natalia struggling, and Cornelius a little bit, but there wasn't any, like, fresh drama, really. No. And then their moms and, like, loved ones were there, so... Not the whole time, obviously, but... And then the hair and the makeup was... No one really got, like, a makeover. Sometimes in the past, they, like, come in and have had, like, a full makeover. Like, I don't think they cut anybody's hair. They just styled it and did some makeup. But it was fine. Sometimes the makeup, I'm like, what are you doing? But it was okay. So was the hair. There was no hairspray paint this time.
Too bad.
Because it wasn't fall yet. That's a fall trend. Right now, that's what Maggie and I should be wearing. We are not. No. Okay, so let's move on to the runway.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still have 9 designers because last time Cornelius got the save, so that is now done. So we should be, but that basically adds an episode to the season, unless there's a double elimination. And I think if we were going to have that, we would have had it already.
Maybe. I don't know.
They'd really have to mess up to be this far along to have one. But, or just be disappointed that like, oh, we're the top 6 and you're both bad, but... Okay, so first down the runway was Roberi, and his loved one was his best friend from Caracas, and then she moved to Panama. And it sounded like she was forced to move there, kind of. And she's a graphic designer, and he made her this, like, teal... It was a dress, but it was kind of had a very distinct skirt and top. So the skirt was this really pretty teal patterned, like, dress that went out quite far, like to mid-calf, maybe, length. Yep. And then it was paired with, like, this black and white patterned top that was kind of, I don't know. It was layered a bit and, like, crossed over. And then he used, like, this pink piping to give a little more detail. What did you think of this one?
I liked it. It was just, I mean, like the judges said, the pattern mixing, that was just, it was cool.
Yeah, it was very good.
I never think like that it would go together so well, but it really did, and she looked really good in it. It fit her really well.
You could tell she felt very confident in it, which is really important. And also, yeah, I think it was earlier in the workroom somebody said, like, I don't know about Roberi's patterns or something, but he pulled off kind of almost like a Dom Streeter, very opposing patterns, but unlike a lot of times this season where it just has not worked when they've done that, Roberi or otherwise, this time it was very successful. It looked really cool. I was like, I could see a lot of people wearing that dress. And it would be cool for, like, the opening of your business at, like, a cocktail party to have, like, this statement kind of piece. And then to know your best friend made it, you know, that's super really cool. Yeah. So he was chosen for critique in the top.
Yep.
Next up, we had Jenny, and it was her mom, was her loved one. And she came down the runway, and she was wearing this, like, gray sweater, but it had, like cuffs like a Letterman's jacket.
Yeah.
And then it went really high up on the neck, and then that was layered over like this loose white shirt that you could just peek out the bottom. And it was paired with, it was hard to tell if it was yellow or lime green, but it was like,
it was yellow.
Yeah, like borderline, just like an acid bright colored, paired with beige patterned pants.
Yeah.
Slight.
Like a geometric kind of pattern.
Yeah, like a geometric pattern. And then they were like kind of drop crotch, and they were just baggy, saggy. But then they, like, closed close to the leg, like an ice cream cone. What did you think about Jenny's?
Not my favorite.
No.
I mean, as we talked about earlier, like, she didn't have a lot to go off of.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like she kind of went sporty. Like, it was just a weird combination of everything.
Yeah.
And she should have just picked one idea and gone with that. I don't know. I didn't like the pants at all. And
no.
I don't know. Just the whole combo of everything. It was like good effort. She did try, but it didn't work
her mom didn't give her a ton of direction, but Jenny also didn't put direction into it. Like the top seemed like something you'd wear to the gym, which her mom asked for. But then the pants, I can't see anybody over the age of 25 wearing those. Just because the pattern and the cut alone. But then also just paired with this like slouchy loose top, these weird slouchy pants was just like... And then she said that her mom said on the runway when asked about it that she would wear it to work because she's the director of a preschool. And I always feel bad when the judges like critique somebody's personal style because according to Jenny's mom, she liked it and that's what she likes to wear. And they, you know, your moms and your friends and your daughters are not there to be critiqued. They did not sign up on this show to be like, critique my work, you know. So I always felt a little bad because like, the judges were like, this isn't professional. If I took my kid there, I would be like, what is this place? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, she just told you that's her personal style. You don't have to like it, but it felt a little like personal attack. And I was just like, oh no, like, I get protective of like the people who didn't sign themselves up for it. You know, obviously they know they're going on public TV. People are going to see them, but I don't know. I was just like, hey, it's okay. We don't need to, because all of them, because they had 4 judges this time, they all kind of beat up on like her, and it was an ugly outfit. When it walked down, I was like, Jenny, no. It was ugly, and it just didn't fit her mom. Her mom had a decent figure, but it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't attack the lady. I would just, because they weren't careful to keep it to, like, the clothing. Like, well, those pants don't look as professional. But it was just like, you don't look. So,
yeah.
that's just a nit I, like, want to pick with the judges. Mm-hmm. But needless to say, Jenny was chosen for critique in the bottom. Next up, we had Dexter. And he put down this, like, oversized, like, dark forest green, like, knit dress that he put gold studs on. And then he put, like, I forget what he called it. Like, those big...
Honestly, I don't remember this one that well.
It was like a gigantic sweater dress with huge puffy sleeves. Right. And then he did like a boning or something in it that kind of like came out. It's hard to describe, but it's basically a dark green dress with flowy arms, very short. And it was his friend. Yeah. I should say his loved one was his best friend of like 14 years with these gold studs because she wanted to open up like a business or something too. Okay. It looked really cool, I thought. It looked very Dexter. He pulls to green a lot. He does. Think. But not like in an Aaron and yellow way, but just like when he needs like that power color. Mm-hmm. He's rocked the green. I didn't hate this as much as I thought I would. On the dress form, I didn't like it. I didn't quite get it. But his friend really pulled it off. She did. She looked like the closest to like a model. And she just had attitude on the runway. That's like my favorite part too, is when you see like the moms and like the friends being like, strut my stuff. Like, I love it. It's just fun. It's something different from the models who usually have like no expression on their face and they just kind of slouch down the runway with their walk and then they're done. Mm-hmm. These like girls are like, yeah, and like opening their little jackets and it's just like, that would be fun. Mm-hmm. For them, it's just a 2-day trip to see their kid or their friend and it's kind of fun and then they're done. But So Dexter ended up being safe. Next up we had Rick and it was his mom. Who was adorable. Yeah. And he put her in a black dress, kind of cut to like just past the knee, I think, or right around there. And then it had, now Rick has talked about his relationship with his mom before, that she was a single mom and that she like helped to pay for him to go to fashion school and she's helping to pay for his studio right now. So he obviously owes her quite a bit for his career. So he put like a little red heart, not as small, I guess not little, it's like a red heart, like over where her heart would be. And then he did this like white stitching on the dress, like really big to kind of look like, I think he said mariachi style. And then that was paired with like, at first I thought it was houndstooth, but it was actually like a tweed, like black and white little cardigan, kind of cut like mid-waist. What'd you think of this one?
I loved it. I thought it was perfect for his mom.
Yeah.
Like, that was perfect for her age range. It fit her really well. It was, like, super appropriate for her going back to school.
Right.
Like, and I think the judges said, like, she could wear this a bunch of different places.
Right.
Like, with several occasions.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The heart was so cute. I mean, maybe too literal, but I don't care.
Yeah. I think the way he did it, because it kind of hid under the cardigan a little bit, and then the cardigan was red lined on the inside, and then had some red detailing, so it was all like black and white. And then when she like on the runway, she like popped it open, and you saw this little red heart. And just knowing how much she's helped him out, like financially. Yeah. And then obviously I'm sure like emotionally, like supportive too. I was just like, this is really touching.
It is. And didn't he say if he won, he would give her his $25,000
That's what,
too?
yeah.
And that got me too.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Because he has money to pay her back. So he was like, yeah. So whether or not that happens, or if she's like, I'll just take this 25 and you use that to, you know, do your stuff. But so that was really cute. I just recently rewatched the Harry Potter movies, and to me it reminded me, and don't take this the wrong way, I liked it. And his mom was adorable, and you guys know I like Rick.
I know what you're gonna say.
I know! It looked a little like Dolores Umbridge's outfits.
It did. Oh,
a classier, better version, but just it, like that little like kind of like bolero style like cardigan with just that dress cut to that modest length, which is obviously what his mom felt comfortable in. But it just reminded me a little of that.
Yeah. Thank God it wasn't pink.
Yeah, I can't say that this was my favorite walking down. I like Rick, and I thought it fit his mom, but this was, to me, it seemed a little like she could probably get that elsewhere. Yeah. Maybe not with, obviously not with like the stitching detail or the heart, or maybe like that cool of a little cardigan, like with the lining. But everybody made this really big deal of, oh, it looks like $250. It looks like blah, blah, blah. I was like, it doesn't. It looks like, I don't know. It looks like any like substitute teacher would wear it, to me. Not to say that it's bad or doesn't fit his mom, it totally did. But it just, it didn't blow me away as, like, super unique, except for the heart.
Yeah.
But he was chosen for critique in the top. Next up we had Erin, and I kind of already described this one, but it was her mom, and she had a gray, big, oversized like coat paired over a light blue dress, like super light blue, that then had floral lace that was colored, like white, yellow, and pink floral lace that ran up both sides, and then like the blue dress was in the middle, and it was very simple. Mm-hmm. And halfway down the runway, she like took the jacket off like a cocoon. So what'd you think of Erin's?
Did not like it at all.
No.
I don't know. Zach made the comment that it's like 2 different seasons. It was like the coat was very wintry, but then the dress underneath was very summery, and they were like competing, and I don't know. And same with like what Tim said, it's one trick pony.
Yeah.
I'm kind of over the coats now with the big pockets.
Well, and this is episode 9, and this is now her 4th look that has that same silhouette of like the oversized. So I'm like, like almost half of what you've shown us.
And the lace, that's basically applique stuff.
Right.
Again.
And it was very basic. For 2 days, I just didn't see it in the dress. Because it had an uneven hem that they pointed out as well. Yeah. Her mom really seemed to like it because she wanted custom clothes. And it's obvious that Erin and her mom, like her mom was like, I consider us more of sisters. And that's what I tell people. So obviously they get along really well and have a strong friendship. So they probably do have a similar sense of style. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I didn't like it, and I am getting sick of Erin falling into pitfalls that other people do, and no one calls her out on it. Right. So I was really glad this time when Tim called her out on the jacket, and she was chosen for critique in the bottom. This is her 4th bottom in a row, and no one seems to mention it.
Right.
Like on the show, I mean. So it's just like other people on the bottom 4 times, they're already gone. And for her, it just doesn't seem to matter. But we'll get to that more a little later. Next up, we had Cornelius. And it was his mom. And she came down in this, I can only describe it as a rope pattern.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down.
Like a nautical rope pattern. It was beige with like black or dark brown outline of like a rope that you'd see on like a ship. That had like these yellow stripes down it. And it was a skirt and a jacket. And then there was like a like flowy kind of like navy top underneath it. What'd you think?
This was my least favorite. And like absolutely nothing to do with his attitude. He seemed totally fine this week.
Yeah, he actually seemed like a reformed young Cornelius.
This, no bias at all. That print was so ugly, in my opinion. I just was like, what is that, and why? Yeah. Why would you ever?
Because his mom, I think, was going to go on like a trip, but not like a cruise.
No. And she said she wanted leather, and I think that's what those little strips were.
Yellow or orangey, yeah.
Yeah, I think those little strips were the leather, and it's like, no, you could have made a super cool like leather jacket or something. Yeah. But no, here you go, going to the rodeo / going on the cruise ship. Yeah. I just was like, what the heck is this?
I don't, it looks like a themed, outfit that you would wear to like, oh, I'm going on a ship, mateys, like, and it didn't suit, like, she was, it just didn't seem to fit her styles. Now, she seemed to like it, but it just, I don't know, it just made her look bigger, like wider, which is not something I think a woman over a certain age wants to look like. And it just, to me, I was like, I didn't get it from the story of, like, why he put her in this rope thing. Yeah. Because, I was like, oh, gosh, you just had the save, and now you put this down the runway. But he was actually safe.
I know, I can't believe it.
Somehow Cornelius is in the top 8.
Yep.
And we have yet to like anything, and usually we hate his the most. I agree. His and Jenny's, to me, were both, I was like, you could double eliminate right there. That's some ugly stuff. Yeah. Next up we have Laurence, and it was her daughter, who was so pretty. Like, her daughter looks a lot like Laurence, but with this really cool haircut, and she had like this super neat like hat on when they first introduced her, and I was just like, everything. Goals. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So cute. And you could tell every time she was around her, Laurence's whole personality just changed. So you can tell they have like a really deep bond. And we learned earlier in the season, like, her whole relationship with her dad kind of fell off when she had her daughter. So her daughter's like her rock. And it's kind of nice to see the other side of Laurence. Yeah. And her daughter kind of wants to start, I didn't read what her age was, but I'm guessing it's in her 20s. Yeah. But that she wanted to like get into like a business or opening, like a boutique or something. And so Laurence put her in a black pencil skirt And then a red top, like a bright red top, paired with like this black leather jacket. Mm-hmm. She looked very sophisticated and older, but not like too aged.
Right. Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I liked it. I thought the skirt was too tight. Like, she seemed like she was having trouble walking in it.
Yeah, but she's probably also not used to wearing a pencil skirt.
Yeah, and she did have, like, really high heels on, too. I mean, it was a nice look. For me, it was just safe. And I think she was safe.
Yeah, she was. Laurence was safe. Yeah, it wasn't like one of Laurence's, like, signature, like, skirts or jackets that has some pizzazz to it. And I think Tim mentioned that in their little, like, meeting, that he's like, well, this looked like something she could buy anywhere, and Laurence's like, not when I get done with it. And obviously it was tailored to fit her daughter perfectly. But yeah, I felt a little like, you could buy that skirt anywhere. Mm-hmm. The jacket might be a little expensive, but she was safe. Mm-hmm. So next up we had Ma Jing, and his mom, just cool, like such a cool backstory that I did not expect at all. Because he's talked about his parents a little bit just because of his heritage, because the name confuses people.
Right.
But then he's like, yeah, my mom's like on stage, she does music and stuff, and she's gonna open her own record label. It's like, okay, hold on, record scratch, what? Like, can we discuss? And they had like pictures of her on stage, and I was like, what was her name, Mama Medea or something?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't remember.
Me either. I just watched it this morning.
Not a common name.
No, it was really cool. Or if that's like her stage name, it's hard to tell. But he put her in this dark denim jeans with this big black leather jacket. It was like a huge like statement piece of like this like huge jacket with a lot of like intricate detailing near the top. Mm-hmm. And it was black leather and then potentially like just a fabric as well. Mm-hmm. What did you think of Ma Jing's?
I didn't love how it fit exactly. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like, I just don't like the drop crotch jeans. Mm-hmm. Not a fan of that. But this idea was like my favorite, I think, on this episode. Like, I just really like the idea of the coat. And like, she likes, what did he say? Asian street style? Yeah. Or Japanese. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Her inspiration was, she just, to me, had the coolest ideas.
Yeah, because she wanted kind of like a kimono style, or like, Japanese street style. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah. And it was cool. This looked to me like someone, like you could wear it to a musical event and look cool.
Yeah.
I agree. It looked a little bulky. Like the jacket, to me, the proportion seemed a little off and made her look bigger than she is. Which I don't think any woman really wants. But it was so cool, and she just rocked it. Like, some people came out and they were like Rick's mom, just adorably, like, walked along the runway, and Laurence's daughter struggled a little with how tight the skirt was, is used to moving her legs a different way, and that's just pencil skirts in general. You gotta walk a little different. But, and it was also tight. But then there was a couple, like, Dexter's friend and Ma Jing's mom just nailed it. Like, just like was strutting, has this like like Ma Jing's mom just like had like this face of like, you cannot mess with me, I am so cool. And I was like, yeah,
she was cool.
Yeah, she was. It gave a really cool vibe, and her hair, like the way they styled it, like kind of like up, it was just cool. Mm-hmm. And Ma Jing was chosen for critique in the top.
Yep.
And then lastly we had Natalia, who really struggled with time this week. And it was her mom as well. And she, her mom was like going to go travel and stuff, so that was kind of her inspiration. So she made these maroon wide leg pants, like super wide leg, and they were like slightly like a higher waisted pant, I think. Paired with this like white kind of flowy top, also slightly oversized, and then this ginormously oversized black and white jacket that I think had like leather detailing.
It did.
What did you think of Natalia's?
I actually really liked it. I mean, I know it was very unfinished, and like she got quite a few comments about how the proportions were off, and her mom is like a more petite woman. Yeah. And so they felt that she was just drowning in the clothes. I feel like with more time and like less pressure, Natalia could have made this like amazing outfit. Yeah. But I mean, I like the palette. I really like the burgundy pants. Yeah. And the white and just white and black jacket.
Yeah, I think so. Or like a cream and black jacket. Yeah.
Like with the leather details. I liked all the fabrics she chose and all the colors and stuff. It just, the execution, she really struggled. Yeah. And the fit, but
I think if her jacket was just sized slightly smaller to like fit herself more, I think she probably would have been safe.
Mm-hmm.
The pants could have used being just a little tighter, I think, around like the upper part of the leg.
Yeah.
And that's usually then where wide legs, just like from your knee down, just carry that same line to even you out. But then like the judges just had a problem with like this wide leg pant that was wide from like the waist down, and usually it's like the knee down, and then also this flowy top with this oversized jacket. And her mom had like an hourglass figure, so it was just kind of like you could have brought that in.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing Natalia's like more street style, I think she was just trying to elevate it for her mom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I liked it. In her relationship with her mom, they were like speaking like Spanish and stuff, and then like that was cute.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom was just really supportive of her. And then at the very end, she's like sewing like the hem of like the pants and the jacket. And Tim's like, okay, everybody, we have to go. And she like throws the pants and she's like, put these on. Like, and I'm like, that's the true relationship of like parents and kids. I feel is like majority of the times like support and whatever. But then in moments of stress, it's like, you know, I love you. I know you love me. Just put on the pants. Like, and you could just be a little abrupt with them. I think that's just the sign of like a well-balanced family where you have those moments of just like, let's put on the pants.
Mm-hmm.
But she was chosen for critique in the bottom.
Yeah.
So that meant our top was Roberi, Rick, and Majing. Mm-hmm. And then our bottom this week was Jenny, Aaron, and Natalia. So the top two ended up being, I think, well, I don't know if they did a top two. It mostly...
Not really.
It was definitely Rick, and then I think they liked probably Roberi's. They had more, like, comments about it, I think.
Yeah. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Because they really did like Mushings too.
Yes. But it ended up that Rick was the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Which is super cool. One, because this whole season we've gotten some background story of Rick's relationship with his mom and all she sacrificed for him. And then obviously all the financial stuff. And then to win this challenge. Mm-hmm. And his mom looked great. Yeah. And obviously felt very confident and could take this dress and go and use it right now. It was finished. It was, you know. Mm-hmm. And then to win between the both of them $50,000 from AARP is huge. Mm-hmm. Super cool.
Yeah.
I hope that none of these relationships are strained by people who didn't win by being like, you lost me $25,000.
I don't think so.
You wouldn't think so because most of them seem to be friends for a while, or like obviously your mom you would hope wouldn't do that, but you never know. There's certain people out there who you never know. So I just hope that didn't happen. But obviously Rick and his mom are super excited.
Yeah.
And to see where all that money goes. Because he did mention at one point giving her his. So... But either way, she's going to make $25,000 or more. So that's pretty cool. Because she's going back to school, so she could use that to pay off her schooling. So that means that then Roberi and Majing were safe. Mm-hmm. And then our bottom again was Jenny, Aaron, and Natalia. So 3 guys in the top, 3 girls in the bottom. Aaron, just like every week she's been in the bottom. This is the 4th week in the row. She is the first one. She gets no additional critique. They're just like, Aaron, you're safe.
Yep.
Like, she gets no warnings, no slap on the hand, like, wrist, nothing. Which I'm getting so sick of that it's so obvious that she's been, like, chosen to be, like, one of the, like, at least, like, top 5, I'm guessing. We called that from our first podcast, I believe, thinking that she would make it to the end.
Yeah.
Because they just seem to love her aesthetic. But I'm like, if you love her aesthetic, is she going to put down an entire runway show collection of giant jackets? Like, can you do that? Because that's what she's going to make.
Yeah.
Like with some poorly applied applique or like weird lace. Like I just want them to pull her aside more. Kind of like they did when Dexter was safe that time and he made that brown fringe dress.
Right.
And they were like, Dexter, this is a warning. Mm-hmm. And he seemed to be like, whoa, okay. But Erin, I feel, hasn't gotten that. Like they keep putting her in the bottom as a warning, but no one's pulling her aside to be like, honey, you need to think deeper about what you're making and stop making, because she's made a lot of coats recently too. Mm-hmm. And that's just that same silhouette. And it's just, I wish that she would be in the bottom too and really feel that pressure. Mm-hmm. But no, just again, Erin, you're safe, which meant the bottom 2 was Jenny and Natalia.
Yeah. And
it was very stressful, but it ended up being Jenny that went home.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about that?
I agree. I feel that it was the worst look today. Mm-hmm. Or, well, on this episode, I mean.
Right.
It just, it didn't go well for her. And I kind of feel like she was kind of heading this path anyways. I didn't see her making it to the finals. Mm-hmm. So, I like her. I'm going to miss her laugh, but...
Which we did get again, in front of her mom, and her mom was not surprised, so it must be real.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I liked her as a designer, but I didn't envision her as a finalist, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, she made some cool stuff early on, but I feel like lately it's just kind of been kind of meh. A couple, like, highlights here or there, but this one, when it walked down the runway, it just looked bad.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Cornelius's, like, Patrick Pants, where I was like, this is a joke. This cannot be Project Runway. Mm-hmm. And it just felt... So when she went home, I was like, well, yeah, it's kind of a bummer because I like Jenny. And she seems helpful and, like, friendly in the workroom, which I also like to see. But at the end of the day... That's not what we're here for. We're here for, one day you're in and one day you're out. So.
That's right.
Yeah. Also, can I just mention that this season, I feel like Heidi just, like, gets up, gives the kiss on the cheek, and is, like, done.
Yeah.
Like, it seems very, like, abrupt lately. Like.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the season or if it's because it's, like, she just doesn't care as much, but you don't get, like, that, like, Auf Wiedersehen, we'll miss you. It's just, like, bye.
Yeah.
Like, she, like, stomps over, it's like, obviously, and, like, sits down right away, and they're like, oh, thanks, bye, guys. Like,
yeah.
But Jenny didn't seem too broken up about it. She was laughing in the, like, when Tim came back, he was like, laughter, because now the save's gone.
Yeah. And
there's no more immunity, so you're just kind of one day, like, week to week of if you're going to stay or not. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I can't say I disagree.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Natalia has kind of turned it around, like, the last half of this season so far of, like, making cooler things. Mm-hmm. And I at least saw her garment of, like, another, like, probably 12 hours of tweaking.
Yeah.
She could have had it. Like,
sure.
the time to remake the coat, basically, but...
Yeah.
But otherwise, that was episode 9. Mm-hmm. A good one. I love the Real Women Challenge. And the stakes, I like when the stakes were this high.
Yeah.
Like, $50,000 between you and another person. That's huge.
It is. What is next week's episode?
I did not see a preview.
I did, but I honestly can't remember. I guess we'll see it next week.
Yeah, it'll be a surprise, just like this week was. I had no idea coming into it, so...
Oh, it just came back to me.
Okay.
It's something they're gonna take a helicopter ride over New York City.
Oh, so it's finally the architecture one, maybe.
Yeah, must be. It showed a little preview. She's making this really weird, ugly pink dress.
Oh, good.
Is what it appered. So can't wait to see more of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, what an exciting thing to look forward to. Helicopters. Cool. Yeah. But otherwise, this was season 15, episode 9. Mm-hmm. And you can find us on Twitter and Instagram. I forgot this last week, at RavRunway.
Yep.
And otherwise, we will see you next week.